Welcome back to Arise XChange. Some former broadcast interns are about to finally get paid. NBC Universal has reached a $6.4 million settlement in a class action lawsuit filed by several unpaid interns who worked on Saturday Night Live and other NBC shows. But are class action suits against companies threatening the entire concept of internships, especially for college students who need them to get future paying jobs? Fatimah Gilliam is an attorney and founder and CEO of the Azara Group. Welcome to the program. First time on the show. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so first the NBC settlement. Exactly what did they do that was probably wrong here?
I think what they did that was wrong was that they're a big, huge company that's not paying people that come there for the summer. The challenge with big companies is that they want to have a pipeline for talent, but they also might have constraints with their budgets. But the issue is you can't be a big company like an NBC and not pay people to work.
Well, let me ask you that though. I mean, what's the difference between a big company and a small company? And I know internship laws vary state by state, but what is the general rules, and why does a big company have to have a different rule than a small company?
Well, I'm not saying exactly that you have to have a delineating factor between big company versus small company, but I think with NBC, the reason why they really got themselves in trouble is they can't really make the case that they can't afford to pay these people. I mean, the reality is they're a multinational billion-dollar corporation, and they can afford to pay. And if you can afford to pay, you should pay.
All right, so now the worry, though, is that this will have a chilling effect on internships. I was an NBC intern. I interned when CNBC signed on many years ago, and in today's world, I think that probably I should have gotten paid. I mean, I was writing scripts, and I was in charge of getting the gold numbers for the day, and yet, I never considered that. They paid me to get there in the sense that they paid my toll and they bought me lunch every day, and I had a terrific experience. And because the people I met there, I was later able to get jobs in the broadcast industry. What is wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with having interns come in. I think an internship program is a great tool for a company to bring talent, and it serves as a pipeline for talent into a company, right? So I'm not trying to knock them. I totally support them. I support them for my own company, and I support them for large corporations. I think the issue is you have to ask, what is the intern getting out of it? And are they replacing what would be a full-time paid employee?
That's kind of the key, right?
Yes.
Is there a replacement on a full-time employee? So do you think that these class action suits, and I always question whether they're actually going to get any money out of it, the plaintiffs, as we know how these things go. But there's been suits against NBC, against Microsoft. Do you think now that these companies are going to say, okay, no more interns, or are they going to address the problem and instead of paying them, if they're not going to do that, come up with a viable legal solution?
I don't think internships are going away at all. I think there will be some companies that are a little afraid and maybe they won't offer them. But the reality is there's a lot of value in having an internship program. It's a cheap way to bring in people, if you're going to pay them, right? It's a cheap way to bring in people and to test them out. It's really expensive for companies to hire talent. It's really expensive to deal with turnover rates on an ongoing basis. So the reality is it's a great way to bring in people, to test them out before you fully commit to them as a full-time employee. And it's also a way to train people.
Okay, so if you're running a small business, then what is your advice to a small business owner who wants to have interns and wants to stay on the right side of the law? And by the way, I mentioned this because there was a California winery now that that has been fined and shut down because for years they had volunteers. And in California, you're not allowed to have volunteers in a profit company. So what advice do you give companies?
The advice I would give to a company is twofold. First, they should know what the Department of Labor says around internships. There are guidelines out there, so they should go to their website and see what they say. The other thing is they should look at what universities say. Lots of universities at their career centers have policies and guidelines around how they should structure an internship. And it really shouldn't just be that you're treating it as a source of free ongoing labor. It really should be a training program, a mentoring program, a way to give young people opportunities and skills.
Okay. Fatimah, thank you so much. Have a good
Thanks
weekend.
for having me.
Appreciate you coming. Interesting topic, and we're probably going to hear more about this as time goes on.